Detective, what is the meaning of all this?
Madame, I ask that you all lend me your ears for only a few moments. What I have to say is of great significance to everyone. You are all invited here to celebrate the engagement of Mademoiselle Angeline van den Bosch and Monsieur Gédéon Demire, the coming together of two prevalent families. But the celebrations were short-lived, as Major Felix Hagen was found dead in his study by a young servant of the house. It then became my responsibility and obligation as a detective to uncover the truth behind his demise. My initial examination of his study exposed a number of things I did not expect to find. Things I have no desire to divulge at this time, but what I can say is this. It was no simple murder. A letter demanding ransom for a continued silence confirmed this. I am sure some, if not all of you, have heard whispers of a series of blackmails that have plagued the social elite in recent weeks. After hearing of the letters in the major study, you may ask if it was him behind the letters. You may further ask if he was preparing his next threat to another unsuspecting victim. It is a question that crossed even my mind. That was until I sought the truth. That in fact it was the Major that had fallen victim to our blackmailer Mystérieux. Last night I spoke with you all, confirmed your whereabouts in the house over the course of the evening, and while I would have expected such questioning to reveal a potential suspect, what I learned was that it could not have been one of you.
What do you mean, not one of us? The man was stabbed. He hardly did that to himself. There is still a killer in the house.
Pardon, monsieur, if you would allow me to finish. It could not have been only one of you. Rather a partnership, in cahoots, if you will. Conversations today have revealed facts that I was not expecting to discover. And although they may have muddied and complicated my investigation, what I must do to bring the guilty parties to justice has become clearer. Those of you that spun stories in an attempt to confuse and derail my investigation have made a grave mistake in underestimating my intelligence. Other detectives may fall for such deception, but I can assure you, Detective Poirot is no such fool. My investigation is far from over, and swift justice shall be dealt to those that have committed such appalling acts and have continued to mislead and lie to protect themselves. Now, I must continue mon enquête, and I shall leave you to consider that you may be beside a cold-hearted killer. Bonsoir. Monsieur Sterling, un moment.
Quite the speech, detective.
Merci, but it was not made to entertain. More to warn the guilty parties that I am hot on their heels.
Well, if there is anything I can do. Is that really necessary?
The murderer remains at large, and there is still no sign.
Of course. I still just cannot imagine any of them being...
It may be hard to imagine.
Nothing. But I was so preoccupied with the Major. So
perhaps it was just my mind playing games again.
Maybe one of the guests got lost and wandered in. Master Hagen had a key, obviously, and Lady van den Bosch. When requested, aye. If something is required from there when Master Hagen...
Forgive me. If he is not around, how is it...
It's not what you think, detective.
What I think is that you have been trusted with a copy of the key, and you have lied to me about it.
I only lied because of the trouble I can get into with Lady van den Bosch.
At this moment, monsieur, you should be more worried about the trouble you shall find yourself in.
I know how it will sound. I lost my key. I must have set it down somewhere, and it has been tidied away. Master Hagen asks so rarely for me to go in the same. I should have said this morning. I'm sorry.
Monsieur, I am not quite sure you understand the
I am well aware, Detective. I just thought she would be able to.
Would you allow a man with a smoking gun to remove his bullet from a victim's chest?
I suppose not.
I would like to begin my searches now, since it is closest.
I may not be back when you return. Here is the key to the other rooms.
Merci. I shall guard it with...
Entrez. Detective, what a...
In a purely professional capacity, I can assure...
There is no need to act so...
Madame, after the revelation of your actions
I will... That would be Inga. She has been one...
Madame Vandenbosch took in a young lady from your shelter.
There is no need to sound so surprised.
I did not mean to sound so cruel. I just did not expect Madame to hire someone of that background after the incident.
People change, Detective.
Believe me.
Be careful, Detective.
It is your actions in this house that have been questionable, Madame.
We do what... We wouldn't be doing a very good job if I could only help one girl.
She has fitted into Monsieur's...
What is better, Detective? That she remained in an abusive house? Or
When put like that.
the happiest she has been in years?
Merci. Huh. Huh. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Detective. A compliment, and now
There was something I was still unsure.
from my days as a nurse.
If that is so, why
One must always be prepared.
prepared?
If I had not brought them, I would not have been able to assist you last night.
Merci.
Detective, what can I do?
Mademoiselle, I am sure...
If it's going to clear my name,
If you would...
like I said, he's not the man.
Oui. But how is it you came...
You don't really want me to recount every conversation I...
There is...
An argument would imply it was a two-way conversation.
And that is not how it was?
Here it is. I've been helping Angeline get exposure, her marriage to Gideon is big news, and his work is really paving the way for others. I saw the chance to get their names out there, and he didn't like it.
What was there not to like?
Your guess is as good as mine, Detective. But if I had to, I'd say he was jealous.
And his reason to storm off?
Oh, you know about that. let's just say I didn't accept his pathetic attempt to get me to stop the story. It... You've really got a fascination with that guy.
I would not say fascination.
Well, I'll save you the bother of trying to find out more about him. He's not that interesting. In fact, he's a bit of a wimp if you ask me.
That is not the impression I got of him.
That's because you've only seen the side of him he wants you to. He knows what to say in front of the right people. Let me guess. The first thing he told you was that he was a union leader. No.
A man that is proud of his work is not...
Don't get me wrong, he has a way with words, and he can certainly rally a crowd. But that's about it.
Merci, mademoiselle.
Sure thing, detective. And if you...
If I do change it... Oh. Aha. Oh.
Go right ahead. All Felix cared about was money, and
The Major was not in need of
need a... As far as I know, De Silva hired him to work security. He was worried what could happen to his precious factories if things...
And your reporters were there to cover the story.
My reporters go where there is news to be told.
And you predicted the violence that occurred?
Anyway...
Merci, mademoiselle. Huh. Aha. Ah. Oh. Oh. Mademoiselle, we meet a...
Bonjour, Monsieur Poirot.
Just a detective.
Bon. I was taking him a plate of food, but
You then entered the study.
I did. He wasn't moving. He just lay there.
I did not mean to upset you again. Seeing him there would be troubling for anyone, and I'm sure it did.
I suppose we're like a family. We argue, but most of the time,
You must all be quite close.
some more than others.
You refer to whom, mademoiselle?
Well, Maman Ray, sorry, Rihanna, she's been here the longest, and she's very close with Lizzie on account of Luke. Maman Ray is Luke's sister. You did not know that? I thought she would have said. She talks about him all the time. It must have been awful. Apparently, he was right at the front when they were charged. They didn't stand a chance. If I had been the one responsible for his death,
Mademoiselle Rihanna, Maman Ray.
every time she talks about what happened. I guess you wouldn't know anything about life on...
It is not an experience I have had to face personally, but I understand that many are...
The lifestyle of a thief, you mean?
Put rather bluntly.
You are the first officer that has not taken one look at me and pulled out their handcuffs.
Mademoiselle, I can see you have turned your life around, and I commend you.
Without the Countess, I would probably be rotting in a...
Merci. Monsieur Demir, I hope you are fit.
Nothing a good night's sleep couldn't fix.
Très bien. I wonder if you would be up.
Whatever you need. I lost my taste for death a long time ago. But it had to be the...
Most understandable. I shall extend the same
You've spoken to him already.
Perhaps that should be a question you ask him yourself.
Yeah. I bet he had a lot to say. He always did have an
When I say your past, I refer to your It seems you both had the same sentiment for this party. Perhaps the bridges that you thought were once burnt are in fact primed to be
We'll see how probable that reconstruction is going to be. Until he sees my point of view.
What is there for him to understand before the bond?
He lost his friends in the war, the same as everyone. But somehow... Those two, close.
They must share something in common to be able to hold the conversation.
If there is one thing I know about my brother, it's that he will not. No.
Was it not your brother that punched Monsieur Hagen?
Ah, that's different. He was asking for it. If you put my brother in a room with 5 socialites like her, he would work his way around every...
Merci for your assistance. Ah. Ah. Huh. Oh.
Always got time. The dagger. I wondered how long...
I shall give you the opportunity to explain the reason for it being...
It was going to be a wedding gift for Gideon. I've maybe not been the best. After what happened to the Major...
You did not see it fitting to tell me you were harboring a rather sizable...
I would...
Merci for your assistance. Huh. Monsieur de Silva, I am sure you...
Not really, Detective. Your speech was rather...
I have not had my abilities questioned to my face by...
Well, if you wish to prove me wrong...
And I hope...
Yes, I helped him invest some money.
Madame Vandenbosch had a very similar view. At least he could have taken solace...
I think you're confused, Detective. It was...
Forgive my naivete. If you were helping him make viable in...
I told him about the opportunities. I did not tell him to put his whole family's wealth into it.
The business declared bankruptcy.
It did. Until it was purchased for a Everything that I want to say...
I understand, monsieur. But what I would like to know is...
Excuse me, Detective, But you...
Cross the line like an attempt to bankrupt a business partner and friend so that you'll be able to swoop in and impress a certain...
You make such ridiculous accusations with...
Your reaction at the mere suggestion is proof enough, monsieur. While I cannot arrest you for betrayal of a friend, I can hope your...
He didn't have much to speak of.
Surprised in what way?
Well, considering it wasn't that long ago, he came to me asking...
You offered him a position.
Nothing... If you can call what him and his team did security.
It was a considerable...
There's no need to divulge amounts. He said they were all professionals, but I saw nothing of the sort. He said he had worked with them all in the
But that was not the...
I had not even met them before they arrived on site. They brought their...
And this equipment. It included...
It was not much of a choice, Detective. I said they didn't need them, but...
That is all. Aha. Aha. Huh.
What is it?
I have spoken of a potential blackmail ring, and yet...
It is none of your business. And it is nothing more.
If that were the case, it would...
You're persistent. No reason, Detective. Merely...
I will be the judge of that. I would like to know about... I trust there is nothing else.
Of course. I have never heard so much rubbish in all my...
That suggests there are some that you do...
Yes, well, why should I praise someone?
Monsieur, the letter does not only discuss your questionable business deal...
Detective, there is a difference between...
And it is you that decides where...
In my house? Yes, it is. Excuse me?
I do not think it is unreasonable to question why you would feel...
Really, Detective, if I had stabbed a man... Yes, and no one asked him.
But surely it is beneficial to both parties.
There are barely any profits to...
Why have those talks not taken place and the deal arranged?
Monsieur Beggars has made no attempt to speak with me and... Please stop calling it that. I treat all my...
That does not mean your behavior.
They have one chance. If they are not doing the job they are hired to do...
Is there a specific member of staff?
There is one girl, a new maid.
That is all.
What is...
That is all. This will not get me any closer. What a revelation! Come, my little grey cells. Is there something? I cannot see the logic in this. Magnifique. Another success. I Order and method. That is the... I must act on thought and... I must take a different approach. The pieces of the puzzle are fine. Is there something I have? I should not be surprised by my own. Things are beginning to become clear.
What is it? She approached me.
In what way?
This. When he came to me, I told him that with the factories on strike and my profits pouring down the drain, I had nothing for him. But he said he could help me get them all back to work and the factories earning. His rates were steep, but he said he knew what needed to be done, and he was He made excuse after excuse, demanding more and more.
The riot.
I had no idea they were going to charge them like.
And even following such a tragedy.
He said if he wanted my silence, it would cost. Do you have any idea what it could do to my life?
I have every idea, monsieur. You hired a militia to take action against your own workers.
I didn't know that was what he was going to.
I have to believe nothing but the... That is all. Some would say a lucky guess.
Is there something you need, detective? She helped me at the shelter.
That I am already aware of. What I am...
Pardon, detective?
I know that your position as a servant in this house is not your only job.
She said I had to do what she asked, or I would be back on the street. I didn't want to do it. If anyone found out, I would be...
Merci, mademoiselle. I cannot see the logic in this. This will not get me any closer to... I must act on thought and... What a revelation! Some would say a lucky guess.
Is there something you need? Nothing. She said
If it was not something she wished you to take, what...
she wanted me to find out information about the family and...
Why did she request that?
At first I didn't know, but when I heard about Mademoiselle Angeline being blackmailed, and then the major... I knew Monsieur Archie had a key, and it would be easy to get it from him.
You knew that the Major asked Monsieur Sterling to access the safe from time to time, and if anything was...
I never took anything. I only told the Comtesse what I...
And that was?
About Monsieur Hagen and the Madame's relation.
I'm sure the Comtesse was pleased to hear such
She said I had done a good job, but I needed proof. That's why I went... I fetched the letters again and took them to the Comtesse last night. But she shouted at me and said...
You were only doing as she requested.
She said it was too dangerous for her to have them with you around. I thought I heard someone on the stairs, so I just threw them back. It was dark.
Merci. Come, my little grey cells. Order and method. That is the way. I must take a different approach. I must act on thought and fact. Another success. I should not be surprised by my own skill.
Is there something you need, Detective? That's all, I swear. I heard Monsieur Archie and Monsieur Felix.
Is the Comtesse aware of this?
I told her it was somewhere in the house, but I didn't know where. She...
Merci, mademoiselle.
I suppose that I will lose...
That is not my decision to make. But when the whole truth is revealed, it will... Come, my little grey cells. I cannot see the logic in this. Things are beginning to become clear. Mademoiselle,
Have you had a breakthrough, Detective?
I have.
Please, Oh my, I feel faint.
It is said to keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
I don't believe it. What about the...
Not only his, but a letter.
She was blackmailing him as well? Detective.
Take a moment, mademoiselle. It is a lot of information to take in.
I just don't... She has never been particularly forthcoming with it. Only that she was homeless for some time.
And it is there that the Countess abused her power.
All this time, she has been working for Margot, doing her dirt.
I am afraid so, mademoiselle.
Is Maman aware?
You are the first I have told, mademoiselle.
I'm afraid. And we will. I want to see her punished to the fullest extent of the law.
Monsieur Archibald informed me earlier. I had hoped they would be working again. Last night's snow must have...
Last night? They have been done all weekend, Detective. Detective? Detective... Would you like me to fetch you a glass of water?
My apologies, mademoiselle. I was taken by surprise for a moment. Merci.